My ex-wife thinks she destroyed all the evidence of what she did to our daughter. She forgot about my hidden USB drive. My wife was caught stealing opioids from her hospice patients and selling them as weight loss supplements, so I had to pump almost everything I had into making sure I got full custody of our 14-year-old daughter Lucy. And 12 months later, with tens of thousands of dollars down the drain, my ex-wife only gets to see Lucy for 2 weekends a month. After Lucy saw me fight for her, she trusted me with her whole heart. And for a while, I trusted her too. I never went through her room, her phone, anything, until I found a weighing scale under the bathroom cupboard with a towel over it, like she didn't want me to find it. So I did what I always do when I found something suspicious. I confronted her. "It's for my business," she explained, her tone completely neutral. "Clients like to track their progress. You see, at around the same time the divorce happened, she had started a healthy meal prep business for busy students in her school. I've been so proud of her entrepreneurial spirit. But I was a teen once too, and I know what hiding something from your parents looks like. So that weekend, while Lucy was at her mom's court-mandated visitation, I did something that I'm still a little ashamed of. I searched her room. What I found made me nauseous. Dozens of notebooks, all outlining meal plans with horrifying calorie counts. Day 1, 500 calories. Day 7, 200 calories labeled juice cleanse. A notebook tracking client weights with competitive rankings. That's when I saw her MacBook sitting on her bed, and luckily I chose to go through it, because that's how I found Venmo transactions amounting to almost $8,000. Discord screenshots from a group chat labeled Lucy's Angels with 11,000 members. In it were resources for how to curb hunger cravings, how to survive while your body shuts down with starvation, a spreadsheet on the most effective laxative brands. It was like a support system where everyone was fueling each other's ED. I couldn't understand how she had been hiding all of it from me for so long, until I went through the conversation with her mom, because that's where I found the message from her mom that made me see red. "Remember our deal? 30% of profits or I call CPS on you and your dad." Suddenly all the new clothes from Urban Outfitters and Brandy Melville made sense. I heard Lucy's car pull into the driveway and quickly put everything back. My little girl, who used to bake cookies with me and donate them to neighbors, was now running an ED empire. Girls were being hospitalized. What if someone died? What if Lucy got arrested? When Lucy walked in, I was sitting at the kitchen table with her meal plans spread out in front of me. Her face went completely white. "Dad, I can explain." "Sweetheart, we need to talk," I interrupted, keeping my voice gentle despite my horror. "Help me understand how this started." She broke down sobbing. "I never wanted to do it, but Mom said if I didn't make her money, she'd tell the court you touch me. She's taught me everything. How to find vulnerable girls, how to make them compete their weights with each other, how to word things so it's not technically illegal." Her words hit me like a punch. "Since the divorce, I've been working so hard that I forgot to be there for my Lucy, and now I was paying the price." Lucy continued, "She has screenshots of the Discord with your computer's IP address all over it. Who's going to believe you didn't know?" she asked, voice shaking. That night, I called my lawyer immediately, and I recognized 3 of the girls' names. They were in Lucy's school, so I called their parents to see if they knew what was going on. One had heart arrhythmias, another with kidney issues, a third had attempted sewer slide because she was so fat she didn't want to be alive anymore. And I guess the whole thing made my head spin, because suddenly I found myself calling my ex-wife to see if I could reason with her one last time. I expected her to apologize, or at least be somewhat ashamed, but instead, she cackled like a witch. "Oh, did she tell you about our little business? Careful, Kevin. I have recordings of you drinking during Zoom calls. One edit and you'll look hammered at school events. Instead of involving the police, who would probably ruin Lucy's future, I fought to get her into intensive therapy. I cut my work hours to be home every day after school. My ex-wife Claire escalated her threats, showing up outside our house, filing false complaints with the school, telling family members I was enabling Lucy's entrepreneurial delusions. The first few weeks were brutal. Lucy barely spoke to me, crushed under guilt about the girls she'd hurt. The second month, she started opening up in therapy about her mom's manipulation. By the third month, she asked if we could cook healthy meals together, real ones with normal calories. I was in the middle of making her a mass gainer recovery smoothie when we heard a knock on the door. It was CPS. I opened the door to find Janet Mills, a CPS worker with tired eyes and a clipboard, standing on my porch. Behind her, Claire held up her phone, recording everything with a smirk that made my stomach drop. "Mr. Morrison?" Janet asked. "We've received reports of child endangerment involving an eating disorder business being run from this home." My mind raced, but I kept my voice steady. "Lucy's upstairs getting ready for her therapy appointment." I glanced at Claire, who mouthed "game over" behind Janet's back. Something about her outfit nagged at me, the same blazer and skirt combination she'd worn years ago during another investigation that went nowhere. Janet stepped inside, her eyes scanning the kitchen. The protein powder and mass gainer ingredients I'd been using for Lucy's recovery smoothie sat on the counter. Claire's fingers moved across her phone screen, and seconds later, I heard Lucy's phone buzz from upstairs. She appeared at the top of the stairs, still in her pajamas, and froze when she saw her mother. I noticed the long sleeves immediately. It was 80 degrees outside, and she was covering the IV bruises from last week's hospitalization, the one Claire didn't know about because Lucy begged me not to tell her. "I need to speak with Lucy alone," Janet said, setting her clipboard on the kitchen table. Lucy practically flew down the stairs and grabbed my hand. "Can my dad stay?" "She's clearly being coached," Claire interjected from the doorway. Janet's eyes flicked between us, calculating. Claire seized the moment. "Lucy, honey, tell Ms. Mills about the business Daddy helped you set up from his computer." My phone exploded with notifications. 3 parents whose daughters had been hospitalized. My lawyer, Dr. Martinez, all warning me not to let Lucy speak without representation. I glanced at the screen, then at Janet. "Actually, Lucy has a therapy appointment in 20 minutes. I showed Janet the appointment confirmation on my phone. Claire's face darkened. She knew I'd just changed it from this afternoon. "I have screenshots," Claire announced, pulling out a folder. "The Discord server shows Kevin's IP address all over the admin actions, posted during his work hours." The doorbell rang. Claire opened it before I could move, revealing Sophia's mom standing there with red-rimmed eyes. "I'm here to support the intervention," she said. "My daughter almost died because of what was happening in this house." I caught Lucy subtly angling her phone, pretending to check the time. The recording app was open, a trick I taught her after the divorce for her own protection. The timestamp showed she'd been recording for 3 months. Janet surveyed the growing crowd in my kitchen. "Lucy stays here for now, but I'll need to interview everyone separately, starting with you, Mr. Morrison." Claire's smirk faltered slightly. She'd expected Lucy to be removed immediately. In my home office, Janet settled into the chair across from my desk. "Sophia's mother filed a complaint as well," she said, opening her folder. "Though it's interesting, both complaints use identical legal phrasing. I noticed her wedding ring catch the light. The unusual Celtic design looked familiar, but I couldn't place it. Through the thin walls, I heard Claire's voice in the living room. "Remember this camping trip, right before Daddy started drinking heavily?" She must have been showing Lucy photos on her phone, photos I thought I deleted from our shared cloud years ago. My work phone rang. I let it go to voicemail, but Janet heard my boss's message clearly. "Kevin, we need to discuss the situation with your daughter's victims. I've received some concerning emails with screenshots." The doorbell rang again. Dr. Martinez's voice carried from the front door, but Claire's was louder. "She's not licensed for crisis intervention." I checked. How did Claire know that specific detail about Lucy's therapist? Janet produced a printed email from her folder. "Ms. Morrison provided documentation documentation showing the business was registered to your home IP address. She pointed to the timestamp. This was sent during your work presentation last Tuesday. Desperation clawed at my throat. Check Lucy's arms. She was hospitalized last week for malnutrition. She was a victim too. The words were out before I could stop them. Lucy had begged me to keep that private. I heard Lucy's footsteps pounding up the stairs, then her bedroom door slamming. Claire's voice drifted from the living room, praying for my daughter's healing from her father's forced hospitalization. The Instagram story notification sound followed. Through the window, I saw neighbors peering from their yards. More cars pulled up. Claire's boyfriend, Jake's BMW, 2 more CPS vehicles, and someone I didn't recognize with a press badge hanging from their rearview mirror. Janet continued taking notes as Claire's voice grew louder in the living room. She was showing someone a binder. I've documented every concerning incident. Lucy's weight loss, strange behavior, the isolation tactics Kevin uses. Dr. Martinez tried to enter through the back door, but Jake intercepted her. His voice was low but threatening. The therapist who's been alone with a troubled teen girl for months wants to interfere. I pulled out my phone, showing Janet Lucy's therapy records. Look at these. They document Claire's manipulation and threats. Janet's expression shifted slightly. She'd seen this dynamic before, but Claire was ready. Those are the sessions where Kevin drove her and waited outside, Claire called out, somehow knowing exactly what I was showing Janet. We don't know what he told her to say. My laptop sat on the desk. Claire's old email account was still logged in from when we shared finances. I could search for evidence of her broader network, but accessing it would technically be hacking. Janet's phone buzzed. I need to interview Lucy now, she said, standing. In Lucy's room, Claire sat on the bed, stroking Lucy's hair. I know Daddy means well, but remember how he missed your school play for work? Lucy's journal lay open on her nightstand. Claire was reading from it. Janet asked both of us to be present for Lucy's interview. Claire kept accidentally mentioning events that never happened. Remember when Daddy forgot to pick you up from dance class and you had to walk home in the rain? Lucy looked confused. She'd never taken dance. My phone buzzed with an email notification. A draft email I didn't remember writing appeared in my sent folder. Lucy's getting too thin, but the business is too profitable to stop. Sophia arrived with her mother, blinking rapidly, her tell when lying. Lucy said her dad knew about the meal plans but needed the money. Claire pulled out her phone. I have a voicemail Kevin left after a work dinner. She played it on speaker. My slightly slurred voice filled the room. Lucy Goosey, sorry I missed dinner again. Make yourself something healthy. Twisted completely out of context. Janet checked her phone. There will be a formal custody review hearing next week. Claire's lawyer had already filed a 50-page document. The timestamp showed it was prepared weeks ago. I excused myself to use the bathroom but went to my office instead. Lucy's Discord password was saved in my browser. She'd made me memorize it for emergencies. The messages loaded, revealing conversations between Claire and other mothers, training documents, profit-sharing agreements, a local circle of moms in town. Claire was teaching other mom-daughter teams her business model. Dr. Martinez appeared in my office doorway, her face pale. Kevin, I need to tell you something before. She stopped when she saw my laptop screen displaying Claire's network. She offered me a position, Dr. Martinez whispered, at a clinic Jake's family owns, starting next month. I turned it down, but she knows things about my daughter's struggles. My fingers moved quickly, screenshotting everything. The training videos showed Claire demonstrating psychological manipulation tactics, using Lucy as her example. One video titled, Creating Competition for Maximum Profit, made my blood boil. I sent everything to my lawyer. His response came immediately. Delete everything. Claire filed a restraining order during the CPS visit. You're violating it by accessing her communications. The timestamp on the restraining order showed 2:47 p.m., exactly when Janet had arrived. Dr. Martinez's phone rang. She answered, her face crumbling as she listened. I understand, she said quietly. Conflict of interest. Yes, I'll send the withdrawal letter today. She hung up and looked at me with tears in her eyes. I can't be Lucy's therapist anymore. I'm sorry. Through the window, I watched more cars arrive. Parents from Lucy's school were gathering on my lawn, some holding signs. Protecting our daughters, one read. A group chat notification popped up on my phone. I'd been added to something called Justice for ED Victims. The messages were split. Half blamed me for enabling Claire through negligence. The other half wanted Claire prosecuted. Several mentioned lawsuits. One parent, a school board member, suggested Lucy needed foster care away from both of us. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. A photo of Lucy crying in her room filled the screen. The message read, she's safer with her mother. Stop fighting, or this gets worse. In the reflection of Lucy's window, I could see Jake holding his phone at the perfect angle. I rushed back to Lucy's room where Janet was wrapping up the interview. Claire smiled sweetly. I've made an offer through my lawyer. Kevin can drop everything, give me full custody, and I'll ensure Lucy gets proper treatment at Serenity Hills. Serenity Hills, the facility Jake's family owned, the one with 3 pending lawsuits for patient abuse. No, I said firmly. Claire's lawyer must have been listening, because within minutes, a notification appeared in the parent group chat. Father refuses treatment for sick daughter, more concerned with winning than healing. Janet gathered her papers. The emergency custody hearing is set for Thursday, 48 hours. She looked between us. I suggest you both prepare thoroughly. After everyone left, I sat in Lucy's empty room. She'd gone to stay with my sister Sarah for the night at Janet's suggestion. Her old diary from freshman year sat on the shelf. I opened it, my hands shaking. The entries from 2 months before the divorce made my blood run cold. Claire had already been teaching her about calories, about good and bad foods. The business hadn't corrupted Lucy. Claire had been grooming her for months while we were still married. My phone rang. 3 different mothers, all with similar stories. Claire had approached them about franchising the model to their daughters. Training materials for $500, monthly coaching calls, a percentage of profits. She said you were on board, one mother told me, that you'd helped set up the technical side. My lawyer called next. Kevin, I need to be honest. Claire never fought hard during the divorce. I thought she was just tired, but looking back, she wanted you to have custody while she built this network. Everything clicked into place. The half-hearted custody battle. The easy victory I thought I'd won. Claire had orchestrated it all. I spent the night creating a fake profile. Concerned mom of ED daughter. Within hours, I was accepted into Claire's private training group. The videos were horrifying. Claire teaching mothers how to identify vulnerable girls, how to create competition between them, how to word everything to avoid legal liability. But I crossed a line. I downloaded her videos and edited them, adding context that made her look even worse, highlighting the worst moments, adding subtitles that twisted her meaning slightly. I told myself it was for Lucy, for all the girls, but I knew I was becoming something I hated. The next morning, I met with Sophia at a coffee shop. Her mother waited in the car, documenting everything for her lawsuit. I need to know the truth, I said gently. When did this really start? Sophia's hands shook. Lucy recruited me first, but then her mom started teaching me directly. Said I could make more money if I cut Lucy out. She blinked rapidly. I'm sorry, I was just so hungry all the time, and the money helped. I promised to help with her recovery if she'd testify truthfully. Another line crossed, manipulating a sick child for information. Dr. Martinez called that afternoon. Claire knows about my daughter's bulimia. She said she'll expose it if I don't support her narrative. Kevin, I don't have a choice. You always have a choice, I said coldly. I know about your daughter too. Testify truthfully, or I'll make sure everyone knows why you really withdrew from Lucy's case. The words tasted like poison. Dr. Martinez's response came via email an hour later. You're just like Claire now. The timestamp showed she'd sent it during what would have been my own therapy appointment. appointment, the one I'd been skipping since this started, but my threat meant nothing. Claire's lawyer revealed that Dr. Martinez had already given a deposition supporting Claire weeks ago, anticipating this exact scenario. That evening, Lucy texted me from Sarah's house. Maybe Mom's way works better. At least she's honest about using people. The words cut deeper than any knife. I drove to Claire's boyfriend's investment property. He owned several around town. I told him I needed to stay closer to the courthouse for the hearings. He agreed, probably because Claire wanted to keep tabs on me. The apartment overlooked Lucy's bedroom window at our house. That night, I searched the apartment. In a locked filing cabinet, I found receipts for bulk laxative purchases, client lists with minor girls' names, ages, and target weights, profit spreadsheets showing over $200,000 in revenue across the network. Jake had been supplying the laxatives, taking his own cut. But the worst discovery was about Sophia. She hadn't been a victim who turned. She'd been Claire's first recruit, trained to infiltrate Lucy's friend group. When profits dropped, Claire had instructed her to expose everything, knowing it would lead to this moment. I found my own texts to Lucy from months ago. So proud of your business success. Love seeing you take initiative. Your entrepreneurial spirit amazes me. While I'd been praising her business acumen, she'd been losing weight before my eyes. Claire would use every one of these messages against me. Lucy's old dollhouse sat in the corner of the apartment, things Claire had taken during the divorce. Inside, hidden in the tiny attic, was a USB drive. Lucy's real evidence, hidden from both parents. The drive contained everything, but getting it had required me to manipulate Claire's younger daughter Mia, who was visiting. I'd asked the 8-year-old to show me Lucy's old hiding spots, pretending it was a game. She'd been so eager to help, not knowing she was betraying her sister. Mia had already lost 5 pounds, Claire's next victim, and I'd used her anyway. That night, I found Lucy's real diary in the dollhouse. The truth was worse than I'd imagined. Lucy had started restricting food on her own before Claire got involved, but Claire had found out and weaponized it, turned it into a business model. I sat there holding the diary, knowing I could add entries, make Claire look like a direct abuser rather than an opportunist. Who would know? Lucy hadn't written in it for months. I picked up a pen, started writing in my best approximation of Lucy's handwriting. Mom hit me when I refused to recruit more girls. Mom threatened to kill herself if I didn't meet quotas. Lies mixed with truth. I was destroying evidence while creating new ones. A soft sound made me look up. A teddy bear on the shelf, one of Mia's. Its eyes glinted in the light. I walked over and found the tiny camera, live streaming to the cloud. The timestamp showed it had been recording for hours. Claire had everything. Me manipulating Mia, me forging entries, me becoming the monster she'd painted me as. My phone rang. My boss. Kevin, I'm sorry. We've received evidence that you accessed Claire's accounts from your work computer. That's grounds for immediate termination. No severance. Insurance ends Friday. The walls were closing in. Every move I'd made to protect Lucy had given Claire more ammunition. Every small victory had created new vulnerabilities. The judge ordered psychological evaluations for all parties. The assigned psychologist was Dr. Patricia Hendricks. A quick search revealed she was Claire's cousin by marriage, something Claire had probably known when she'd orchestrated this jurisdiction. I drove past the courthouse where I'd won custody just a year ago, the same building where everything would end in 2 days. But this time, Claire would be sitting in my old spot, and I'd be the one fighting to keep access to my daughter. My sister Sarah called. Kevin, I love you, but I need to ask, did you ever consider that Lucy might have started this herself? That she blamed Mom to protect you? I remember her secret diet freshman year, before the divorce. Even Sarah was starting to doubt me. The parent alliance was shifting by the hour. Those whose daughters were recovering sided with me. Those whose daughters were still sick blamed me for enabling Claire. Lawyers were circling like sharks, coordinating without their clients' knowledge, seeing opportunities for settlements from both of us. My resources were gone. Credit cards maxed from legal fees and Lucy's treatment. No job, no income. My lawyer needed another retainer I couldn't pay. I tried to see Lucy at school during lunch, but Claire appeared with a court order for lunch supervision. I was escorted off school property. The paperwork had been filed weeks ago, just waiting for this moment. My name was removed as emergency contact, replaced with Jake's. That night, I slept in my car outside Lucy's window at Sarah's house. Just before midnight, the porch light flashed twice, our old signal for I'm okay. But she wasn't okay. None of us were. Claire texted me a photo the next morning. Lucy with Mia at a breakfast table. Mia's plate had 3 strawberries and water. The caption read, "Teaching healthy habits to the next generation." I called CPS about Mia, but it backfired spectacularly. The report was flagged as a vindictive father making false accusations. My credibility was officially destroyed. The notes described me as fixated on food and weight issues, possibly projecting. 2 hours later, Mia was hospitalized for dehydration. Claire immediately blamed my harassment for causing stress-induced illness in both daughters. The hospital social worker, overwhelmed with cases, noted both parents as problematic and recommended removing both Lucy and Mia from our custody. The final blow came from Lucy herself. She'd been building her own case for 3 months, recording both of us. Hours of audio showing me promising to fix everything while missing her depression. Claire teaching her to monetize pain. Both of us failing her completely. She'd hired her own lawyer with the money from the business, not to side with either parent, but to advocate for herself. The custody hearing was tomorrow. Claire had her network, her documentation, her cousin the psychologist. I had nothing but the truth, and even that was tainted by my own desperate actions. I'd become exactly what Claire said I was, a father so obsessed with winning that I'd lost sight of what mattered. Lucy didn't need me to win. She needed me to be the father I'd been before all this started, the one who baked cookies with her, the one who trusted her. But it was too late for that now. We were all too damaged, too deep in the war to remember what peace looked like. Tomorrow, a judge would decide our fates, but really, we'd already decided them ourselves. The business Claire had taught Lucy to build had destroyed us all. The real product wasn't meal plans or weight loss. It was devastation, packaged and sold to vulnerable girls by the people who should have protected them. And tomorrow, everyone would see exactly what we'd become in our fight to prove we were the better parent. The truth was, neither of us deserved her anymore. The morning of the custody hearing, I woke up in my car to find a process server tapping on the window. More paperwork from Claire's lawyer. An emergency motion claiming I'd been stalking Mia at the hospital. The security footage would show me in the parking lot, though I'd never gone inside. I drove to the courthouse early, hoping to catch my lawyer before the hearing. He was already there, looking exhausted. Kevin, I need you to understand something. The judge has seen the teddy bear footage. Claire's team sent it last night. My stomach dropped. The forged diary entries. Me manipulating an 8-year-old. Everything. There's more, he continued. Dr. Hendricks' evaluation came in. She's recommending supervised visitation only for both of you. Through the courthouse windows, I watched Claire arrive with her entourage. Jake, her lawyer, several parents from the support group. She dressed Lucy in a conservative outfit that made her look younger, more vulnerable. Lucy's eyes were red-rimmed, staring at the ground. The courtroom filled quickly. Parents from both camps, reporters from the local paper, CPS workers. Janet Mills sat in the back row, her expression unreadable. I noticed she wasn't wearing her wedding ring anymore. Judge Chen called the hearing to order. Claire's lawyer went first, painting me as a negligent father who'd enabled his daughter's dangerous business while drinking heavily. The teddy bear footage played on a screen, me forging entries, me asking Mia about hiding spots. My face looked monstrous in the grainy video. Then came the parents. One by one, they testified about their daughter's hospitalizations, the medical bills, the ongoing therapy. Sophia's mother broke down, describing finding her daughter unconscious on the bathroom floor. Each story, another nail in my coffin. Claire took the stand next, the picture of maternal concern. She admitted to knowing about the business, but claimed she'd been trying to protect Lucy from my reaction. I knew Kevin would overreact and traumatize her further. I was trying to handle it delicately. My lawyer's cross-examination revealed the network, the training videos, the profit sharing. But Claire had an answer for everything. She'd been gathering evidence. She'd been protecting other girls by teaching their mothers warning signs. Every damning fact twisted into heroism. During a recess, Lucy's lawyer approached me in the hallway. A young woman named Nathaniel Chen, no relation to the judge. Lucy wants to speak with you before she testifies, she said. I found Lucy in a small conference room, still in that awful conservative outfit. She looks so much older than 14. I'm going to tell them everything, she said quietly. About Mom's network, about your lies, about how you both used me. Lucy, I don't want to live with either of you. Her voice was steady, resolved. Aunt Sarah said I can stay with her. She's been sober for 2 years now. She understands what it's like to hit bottom. The revelation hit me like a physical blow. Sarah, who I dismissed as unstable, had been quietly rebuilding her life while I destroyed mine. Back in the courtroom, Lucy took the stand. Her testimony was devastating in its clarity. She detailed Claire's manipulation tactics, the threats, the business model, but she didn't spare me either. The missed signs, the praise for her entrepreneurship while she starved, the way I'd become so focused on winning that I'd stopped seeing her. Both my parents love me, she said, looking directly at the judge. But right now, their love is poison. They need to fix themselves before they can be my parents again. She played audio recordings from her phone, 3 months of evidence. Claire teaching her to find fat girls with rich parents, me promising to fix everything while doing nothing but fighting, both of us using her pain as ammunition. The courtroom was silent when she finished. She sobbed, but I'd seen those crocodile tears before. My turn to testify came next. I admitted everything. The forged diary entries, manipulating Mia, accessing Claire's emails, threatening Dr. Martinez, every desperate, terrible thing I'd done in the name of protecting Lucy. I told myself it was for her, I said, my voice cracking. But somewhere along the way, it became about beating Claire, about being right. I lost sight of what Lucy actually needed. Claire's lawyer tried to paint my confession as more manipulation, but the damage was already done. We'd both revealed ourselves as unfit parents. Dr. Hendricks testified about her evaluation. Despite being Claire's cousin, her assessment was brutal for both of us. Both parents display narcissistic tendencies and poor boundaries. They're locked in a toxic dynamic that's causing severe psychological harm to Lucy. The final witness was unexpected. Mia, Claire's younger daughter, had been brought in by her father, Claire's first ex-husband. She was in a wheelchair, still weak from her hospitalization. Mommy said I was getting pretty, Mia whispered into the microphone. She said 3 strawberries would make me beautiful like Lucy. Claire's composure finally cracked. She sobbed, reaching for Mia, but her ex-husband pulled the wheelchair back. He'd been documenting everything too, building his own custody case. Judge Chen called a brief recess. When we returned, Lucy was sitting with Sarah in the gallery. My sister looked different, healthier, clear-eyed. She held Lucy's hand tightly. The judge's ruling was swift and comprehensive. Emergency custody to Sarah, pending home studies and evaluations. Claire was arrested on charges of child endangerment and fraud. The network evidence was too damning to ignore. I received supervised visitation only, 2 hours per week at a court-approved facility. Both parents will undergo intensive therapy for a minimum of 2 years before any reconsideration of custody, Judge Chen stated. Lucy Morrison has shown remarkable strength and clarity in an impossible situation. This court's priority is her safety and recovery. As the bailiff led Claire away in handcuffs, she looked back at Lucy one last time. I'm sorry, baby, she mouthed. Lucy turned away. The courtroom emptied slowly. Parents hugged their daughters tighter. Lawyers exchanged business cards. The reporters scribbled notes for what would be a small article in tomorrow's local section. Parents battle over teens' eating disorder business. Outside, I watched Sarah help Lucy into her car. My sister paused before getting in the driver's seat and looked back at me. 2 years, Kevin. Get yourself together. She'll need her father someday. A real father. They drove away, leaving me standing on the courthouse steps. My phone buzzed with an email from my former boss. They'd found a discrepancy in my expense reports from last year. More consequences coming. I walked to my car, passing a group of girls from Lucy's school. They whispered and pointed, but I kept walking. Tomorrow I'd start looking for work. Construction probably. Something physical. Something honest. That night, I sat in my empty house. Lucy's room untouched. Her recovery smoothies still in the fridge. I pulled out my phone and found a therapist who specialized in family trauma. The first appointment was next week. 2 years. Sarah was right. Lucy would need her father someday. Not the father who forged evidence and threatened sick women. Not the father who got so lost in winning that he forgot what he was fighting for. But maybe, if I did the work, I could become the father she deserved. Claire would be out on bail within days, I knew. Her network was already fracturing. Mothers turning on each other. Girls slowly recovering or sinking deeper. The damage was done. All we could do now was try to heal. I thought about calling Lucy, then remembered I wasn't allowed contact outside supervised visits. Instead, I wrote her a letter I'd never send. I'm sorry I failed you. I'm sorry I became someone you couldn't trust. I'm sorry I made your pain about me. I love you. I'll do better. I tore it up and threw it away. Words were cheap. Lucy had heard enough words. The work would be in the doing. 2 years of therapy. 2 years of rebuilding. 2 years of learning to be a father without being a fighter. In the morning, I'd start looking for work. In the afternoon, I'd go to my first AA meeting. My drinking had become more than social since this all started. Small steps toward becoming someone Lucy could trust again. The house felt empty, but for the first time in months, it also felt peaceful. The war was over. We'd all lost. Now came the harder part, learning to live with the ruins.